Hello there YouTube, my name is Chuggy and today I am playing some Battlefield 3, playing some Conquest on Operation Firestorm. And this week guys, it's Challenge Chuggy. Normally at this point I'd say, oh, I've had one heck of a challenge, very difficult, all the rest. Well, this week's challenge was damn right nigh on impossible. Good lord. This week's challenge was set by Tom Jake 767, and for those of you who don't know, that's actually Tom from my squad, and he set me the challenge of the following. In a game, use only the G18, get a 2 kill death ratio, get a 50+ meter headshot. I'm not allowed to use any vehicles, and as you can see I'm taking that quite literally, and I could use any kit I so desired. That was the challenge, and seriously, this was difficult. This was very difficult indeed. Now, well, let me put it like this. I've uploaded this gameplay for a reason, hopefully that's self-sufficient to what's going on, but yeah, today what I'm going to be talking about is the challenge, how I found it, how I found the G18, and, well, some other talk about the patch really, a bit more of an appendice, if you will, adding on to what I was talking about before anyway. Oh, and a brief clarification of Challenge Chuggy as well while I'm at it. So, without further ado, I may as well talk about the challenge. Seems logical, first thing to talk about. So, the reason I found this challenge so difficult is that I really do not get on with the G18 at all. And it's funny, I asked Tom when I saw that his comment was top rated by, well, actually 25 of you. Thank you for rating the 25 of you. And thank you actually to Tom while I'm at it for the challenge. I remember asking Tom, why on earth did you choose that? And he said, well, that's because you've said in the past how you absolutely loathe this pistol. And, well, to put it in a word, loathed is the completely adequate superlative, to be honest. It's something I just don't get on with at all. I much prefer the semi-automatic pistols, which do more damage. You know, the likes of your 44 Magnum, which actually I've been using an awful lot post-patch. It's actually become very nice to use indeed. The M1911, those kind of things. I much prefer those to the automatics. Because, as I've found while doing this challenge and using them, picking them up off the ground from kits and that kind of thing, the automatic pistols to me, they literally are a spray and pray. No, it's not Grand Theft Auto. Spray and pray weapon. You know, you hold down the trigger and you just hope to all hell that the bullets connect and you get the kill. Now, for me, that doesn't work. I like to actually have my pistol as my primary at times. So I like to have the confidence to know that if I were to aim and fire at someone, I'd be able to kill them, not to just hope that vaguely they might go down. And the biggest issue I had with the G18 is just its accuracy when fully automatic was atrocious, and its damage when put on semi-automatic was pitiful. I just could not get on with it, and as you're about to see here in my first kill of the game, even at pretty damn close range the bullets tend to go everywhere, and I'm trying to control the recoil. It's not pleasant at all. Really do not get on with this weapon, and I'll be honest, when I've been killed by the G18 in the past, I've kind of gone, oh god damn, really, an automatic pistol, you couldn't kill me with a primary or something. I now have a lot more respect for guys who use the G18, because it is literally, it just seems to me, or to me, to be a pistol of luck. You know, on paper it looks like a perfect handgun, you know, automatic as a backup weapon, which is nice, you know, decent sized magazine, you know, it looks on paper brilliant, but in practice I just couldn't get on with the thing. So that was the first challenge, getting over the weapon. And well, pre-patch I wasn't a big fan. Post-patch I don't know if they've tweaked the pistols that much, but it just felt even worse. Yeah, I did not get on with this thing at all. So as you can probably imagine, getting kills at close range is a little chancy with the spraying nature of this thing. At range it was next to impossible. But, you know, miracles do happen. I'll say it like that. Anyway, so the challenge, very difficult. Primarily because of the weapon, I just cannot get on with this thing. So, thank you, Tom, for the challenge. Thank you again for all 25 of you who upvoted that. And, well, I guess this is a good time to talk about it. Let's talk about the next challenge, Chuggy. Now, I saw loads, and I really do mean this, loads of brilliant challenges for me to well, partake and have you guys, you know, vote on last time out for Challenge Chuggy. Some really interesting ones. However, a lot of them are, well, multi-stage, so, you know, they had 5 or 6 parts to them. I think there was one where it was, you know, get 10 kills in a jet, get 10 kills in a helicopter, that kind of thing in one game. Realistically, that isn't going to happen, and, you know, I guess that I have to, you know, put, I don't know, a marker down or something to say, you know, it has to be something achievable in one game. And since, well, if you hadn't seen my 2K thank you video, I now have a server. It is my intention to do all Challenge Chuggy attempts in the server, and that server will remain Conquest and 100% tickets. So what I'm going to do is slightly tweak the rules, if you will, for submitting a challenge. Basically, what I'd like you guys to do is follow a little model where you have a challenge and then a criteria. So, for example, the challenge could be a tank-only gameplay, and the criteria is it must be flawless. Or it could be a knife-only gameplay where you capture 3 objectives. You know, that kind of thing. So don't get me wrong, I love your enthusiasm setting me all these little subtasks and things to do, but in the course of a normal game, most of them would have been impossible to do. This one was just possible because it was literally a weapon challenge. But, you know, jumping around vehicles and whatnot, in a, you know, couple 1000% ticket server, I can probably do that, yeah, but I doubt you'd want to watch an hour-long video without me heavily editing it. So, for now, I'm just making that brief tweak. Hopefully you guys understand, and as I've said, you know, don't get me wrong, I love, you know, the creativity and the variety of challenges, but there has to be a bit of, I don't know, restraint and focus on this actually being possible. And actually, I've got to say, it was quite interesting to see that one of my subscribers, I forget, it begins with M, sorry, I've forgotten the name of your channel, actually went to retry Blade of Glory, which was the, was it the second? Yeah, it was the second challenge, Chuggy, where we did a knife-only game. It was quite interesting to see his performance. So by all means, if you can have the ability to record and capture, if you want to have a go at these challenges yourselves, by all means do so. Put a video in the sort of video response area, or leave a video response, and I'll more than happily accept that and link it in, because seriously, some of these challenges are pretty damn tricky. So yeah, thank you for that. Really unexpected and great, actually, a bit of user interaction there, so I really did enjoy watching that video, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Challenge Chuggy stuff. I look forward to what you challenge me with for next time out, and remember, you know, it could be anything. It could be a weapon you use all the time, because all the weapons have changed now post-patch, and or it could be a challenge for, you know, being flawless in a tank or something like that. By all means, you know, get creative, but please do try and stick to the model of, you know, challenge and criteria. That would be much appreciated. And always, as always, the most upvoted challenge will be taken on for the next challenge, Chuggy. So guys, thank you for the challenges. I hope you enjoy, well, the rest of this gameplay. So far going relatively okay, apart from the fact we're taking a beating in the ticket stake, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's move on to talk a bit more about the patch, shall we? Yeah, this patch, it's so deep, really. The number of things it's changed. I think I was perhaps a little foolish trying to think that I'd be able to cover everything in one initial video, but absolutely not. Yeah, this patch has changed a lot. Now, if you recall in previous videos, I was kind of a bit, I'd say concerned, confused at how it does seem to me that DICE had changed multiple elements of the game just for change's sake. You know, for example, in my eyes, other than the USAS 12, the game was very well balanced pre-patch in terms of the weapons and everything else. But that's all changed, and I was kind of like, oh, why is that? I don't quite get that. And what I found myself was the weapons were becoming almost unusable. I struggled to kill people with them. I really had a hard time. Well, it's interesting, having played the game a bit more, I'm actually going to rescind that remark. I think the weapon changes are absolutely beautiful, and that the enemy, if you will, of the situation here is the suppression mechanic, and this has got a little bit of, excuse the pun, fire for that change. Now, can you guess how far that headshot was? Wink, wink. The suppression mechanic, first of all, I say is a great mechanic. It's new to Battlefield 3, and I personally really like it. You know, it makes you realise that, okay, you're under fire, you've got to do something about that. And in the patch, it was significantly changed. Previously, it was a visual effect, and I believe you got a slight penalty to recoil and accuracy when you were being fired upon. But after the patch, that has radically changed in terms of you get a crap ton more recoil, the visual effect has been upped, and the accuracy of your weapon will severely degrade as you're fired upon. And basically, it's turned a lot of the firefights into whoever shoots first wins, which obviously isn't too good. And another issue with all this is that the rounds, I guess, well, I don't know how really to describe it, but, you know, say someone, for example, I'm down here at C, someone fires randomly a bullet over at A, and it just so happens to come close to my hitbox. I'll be equally as suppressed by that round as someone firing at point blank. So you kind of are put into this false sense of, I don't know quite, you know, if is that close, is that far, I don't know quite how to handle this situation. So the suppression has undergone a massive change, and it's interesting, on one of the recent Don't Revive Me Bro podcasts, Demise99, the guy who was in charge of sort of Battlefield 3's gameplay balance and things like that, he actually said that this version of suppression that we have post-patch is actually a tuned down version, a watered down version from what they wanted to initially to deploy. So Lord knows what that would have been like, but basically the suppression, it really does almost ruin the infantry war-on-war or gun-on-gun fighting. As lucky, did you notice that T90 shell went between my legs? Whew, that was a great escape. Anyway, so yeah, the suppression mechanic, I think personally is a little OTT. However, I do have one pro tip I can share with you. I might be wrong, but certainly from my experience, I'm pretty sure this is on the money. So, say you're being shot at, you're being suppressed, your weapon basically, or your primary weapon anyway, becomes basically useless. It just seems to spray nonchalantly everywhere, you know, it doesn't really do much. As I do throw a grenade here for some reason, but then I don't actually hit anything with it, but never mind. So yeah, the primary weapons, when you're suppressed, become all but useless, but I've actually found that it seems that the pistols, and this actually helped me when I was doing Challenge Chuggy here, the pistols are not affected by suppression. You will have the visual effect going on, but the actual increase in recoil and the bullet spread and everything else, that doesn't seem to occur. So something to bear in mind, if you're being fired upon, and there's someone, for example, close range, by all means whip out that pistol if you can get it, or get to it in time, and start putting some rounds downrange towards your enemy. They'll be suppressed just as much as you would be by their primary weapon. Excuse me. And, well, you might be able to turn the gunfight in your favour. Now, I don't know if this is a case of not many people have realised this, and thus suppression isn't playing out in, if you will, its true light. But certainly I have won gunfights thanks to that, because I've gone, okay, sod the assault rifle, sod the shotgun, whatever it may be, whip out the pistol, and sure enough, I've been able to finish the guy off before he finished me. So it does, or it does at least, it might be a placebo effect for all I know, but it seems to work. So a pro tip there, if you're being suppressed, switch out to the pistol and go from there. It certainly has helped me anyway. So a little tip there. So that's the suppression. Now, I've kind of already touched on the weapon balance and how I actually really like what it's done. You know, basically pre-patch there was one combination which pretty much everyone ran with, and that was the foregrip and silencer. Reason being that there was no penalty not to run with that. You were silent, you had an accuracy boost thanks to the foregrip. You know, it was a sensible option to go with. Post-patch, that isn't the case anymore. In fact, if you run with that combination, you'll be actually nerfed. Well, not nerfed is the wrong word, but actually you'll be making your life a lot more difficult for yourself. I believe that the recoil it doesn't have the damage drop off over range anymore, but it increases the recoil slightly. I think I'm right in saying that. And the actual foregrip, it's great if you want to do some hip firing, but when you aim down sight you get a slight penalty. So combine the two, you can start to see a bit of the problem. But essentially what DICE wanted to do with the patch to alter the weapon balance is basically switch up all the attachments as well as a few of the weapons. And I must say, having gone through most of my weapons now, you know, taking everything off and building them up again, and that's what I recommend anyone does really, if you want to find out what attachments and such work for you. Take everything off the weapon, work up from there. I'm loving the balance. I mean, for example, my assault rifle at the minute, I'm running with the L85A2, still my favourite assault rifle. I've got a bipod, a silencer, and a Russian holographic sight on there. And it's funny, removing the foregrip from that combo, which I would have run normally, has made the weapon a lot more usable at close range, weirdly, and well, the bipod means I can shoot at long range as well, so I get even more advantages. It's funny, just trying out weird and wonderful new combinations really has been helping a lot. In fact, for example, the M60 got a bit of a buff in terms of damage and things. I got rid of the foregrip on that, put the bipod on, and well, sure enough, it was an absolute, well, it was an absolute killing machine, as you'd hope. It is a killing machine after all. So yeah, the weapon balance changes I absolutely adore now. I am really happy with them, and I think that just the suppression mechanic was messing things up a bit for me. And what I'd like you guys to do now actually is remember that death, this little sequence here. I'll be coming back to it shortly. And hopefully that will perhaps give away why I come back to that shortly. Anyway, so yeah, the weapon balance changes I love. However, there is one change I'm slightly speculative of, and that's the vehicle changes. So tanks in particular, or at least tanks you tend to see most of them about, I guess, they have become, in effect, a lot weaker. in short, I think what DICE were trying to do is actually make tank drivers behave more like infantry. They have to be more tactical, flank and that kind of thing. Because what would happen in pre-patch Battlefield 3 is you'd have 2 tanks head on, and basically whoever had the guided shell or canister shell would win, because you'd fire your 120, fire your canister, fire your 120, etc. And because the front armour was so strong, it could take that and any beating, and with any luck you can position yourself. It was pretty, you know, rudimentary. Now though, if you go head on with a tank battle, you know, 2 shells and you're out of it. And likewise, the engineers now can take, a single engineer can take out a tank now, which I personally love. On console, it was a real issue where basically, as a lone engineer, if I saw a tank, I'd be in trouble, because I'd need, you know, 4 or 5 rockets to the front to disable it, 2 if I was able to get perfectly around the back of the tank, which often wouldn't happen. You know, it was a hard task, and if that tank had an engineer, as my door shuts weirdly, if that tank had an engineer, you know, I stood no chance at all. So the fact that the tanks are weaker from an engineer point of view, I think is a really good thing. It means that you actually have a fighting chance now as an engineer. But I think that balance change doesn't suit all platforms, let me put it like that. So PC, I think, has had quite a rough time of this. Obviously PC, you know, you have more guys playing the game, lucky old you know, you got 32 and 64 players. The, if you will, percentage chance of one of those players being an engineer is significantly higher. Now let's say on a console it's 12v12, let's say 2 guys in every team, just rudimentary, 2 guys in every team on console is playing engineer. Previously, you need both of them together to stand a chance against a tank. Now, individually, they each stand a chance against a tank. So 2 out of 24, this is where I fail with mathematics heavily. Well, it's 224, so that's 1/12. That's, some fraction which I can't remember the decimal value of. It's a value, and if you port that value across to PC, the number of players is significantly higher, but the number of tanks basically will still be the same. Essentially, the balance of tank versus engineer is my point. You know, has swung quite significantly to the engineer on the PC platform because there are more players. And I think this is a case where, because DICE have tried to keep the game the same across all 3 platforms, they've actually done themselves a bit of a disservice. From what I've been hearing on the PC side of things, the game as a tank driver is almost nigh on, well, unplayable, because, you know, one team of engineers, you know, you could be taken out in seconds, which isn't fun, obviously. So yeah, I think that there's a slight balance issue with some of the vehicles. I think this has been exacerbated a bit with the fact that other things have been buffed up. For example, the attack helicopter missiles have been buffed up a bit to do more damage and things like that. You know, it's perhaps, again, a combination of things not showing off the actual change in their true light. But I think, in this case, console, in terms of the tank battles, is absolutely spot on. Works really nicely now. I've had a lot more fun playing as engineer, going up against tanks. It's genuinely been tactical and challenging. It's been good fun. From what I'm hearing on PC, that's not the case, and I think, well, this is a case of balance needs to be adjusted per platform, in that case, anyway. So yeah, the patch I'm really loving, and well, now that I've rented a server and stuff as well, I'm getting used to those features as well. I think this patch has added an awful lot and has made the game, you know, a brand new game. I stick to that point. It really has, you know, just changed up the way that Battlefield plays, and for the better in my eyes. You know, the annoying exploits are gone. The, you know, gun-on-gun gameplay is back in terms of recoil. There's a bit of gun skill involved. It's just a really enjoyable experience at the moment. And, you know, given a few gripes, suppression, and, you know, the bit of a vehicle imbalance now against engineers, I think it's done a cracking job. And, well, by the sounds of it, the next patch, if we were to get one, would come out around the time of Close Quarters, which makes sense. And actually, briefly on Close Quarters, it's PAX East, I believe it is, this weekend, and there's been some, I think, leaked, to be fair, gameplay appearing on YouTube. The maps are pretty damn sizable, bigger than Team Deathmatch area maps, I think, so, yeah, they're not all that small for a Battlefield game, but anyway, I digress. The point of the matter is, I think the patch has done a really good job, and with any luck, any of the little sort of problems that we've got now with the current patch will be sorted when Close Quarters comes out in June, which, let's remember, isn't all that too far away, really, given that we waited since December for this patch. So, the patch, again, I love it. It's just improving the game even better. So I like that, and I'll wrap that up there. So anyway, as you can see, I'm not 2 for 1, but remember that death, that kill that I had. I'll cut it in on top. I believe I should get credit for a kill there. That was an assisted suicide. I did get a hit on that guy. The damage I did to him when he jumped over that railing killed him. I'm calling that as a kill there, hence 2 for 1. But what about the headshot? It looked like a long-range headshot. I think you'll agree. Did it do the job? Well, Let's find out in a second when I switch to the stats thing. Oh, wait, yeah, there we go. Stats thing, here we go. 81 meters. So, yeah, there you go. 81 meter headshot. I'm calling 2 for 1. G18 only. Challenge complete. Thank you, Tom, again, and the 25 of you who've upvoted that. Leave your challenges down below in the new format. And, guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching as always. If you could leave a like, dislike, whatever you believe this video deserves, that'd be fantastic. And if you're new to my videos, you can always subscribe. So, guys, as always, thank you so very much for watching. I've been Chuggy, and I'll see you next time out on the battlefield.